friends, it's Kim Kesty here in the Spellbinders Studio, and I'm so excited to be here to introduce our brand new tool. Now, we know we love our tools here at Spellbinders, but I think this one's special and unique, and it just might surprise and delight you. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about. What we have here is actually two pieces, which will be sold as a bundle, of course, eventually, but we have this really super fun clear maker tool, and we've got a matching little glass mat that kind of coordinates with it. We're going to dive right into this unboxing so you can see it up close and personal. So of course it's got this gorgeous little box, which I think is very giftable. Super pretty box. Sort of has a theme of our wax seal kit, our original wax seal kit. And so there's a lot of the same type of products they're going to mix and match with this new tool, which again is called the Clear Seal Maker Tool. Let's just unbox this one first. Dun, 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 dun. This is like legit, you guys. I've never unboxed a brand new one. Of course, we've had different ones we've been testing in studio, but let's rip it open. Okay, very pretty. Our Spellbinders logo. We've got some extra clear sticks in here. And of course, get rid of that plastic here. You have kind of your little user manual, which is going to give you a few little tips and tricks, a lot of which we're going to go over in this video. So stick with me. We're going to kind of walk you through all the fun things. So you've got your Clear Seal Maker tool. I know a lot of you going, Kim, that looks like a glue gun. Well, it is similar, but trust me, as we go through the video in the next few minutes, you're going to find out what makes this just really a unique tool, something that's going to work beautifully with these clear, you can see these clear sticks are absolutely gorgeous. I don't even have them out of the bag yet. Might as well do that real quick. The combination of this maker tool and these clear sticks and some of our, again, original wax seal stamps are going to make such beautiful, fun, amazing things. So with the kit you get, I'm counting them right here, 6 of the original clear sticks. You've got your clear maker tool. Let me go ahead and unbox this guy because it's pretty much a critical piece that's going to match our product line here. It is called the Sealed Glass Mat. And again, we don't want to bring you an everyday average glass mat, which of course you can use. Diving my fingernails in here. We had to make it pretty, we had to make it special, and we had to make it the perfect size to match with our Clear Maker tool. Clear Seal Maker tool. So it's going to come carefully wrapped, of course. Get to you beautifully. And again, the cute little box, which you could use to store it in later, unless you just keep this on your work surface. But here we have this glass mat, and again, you can kind of see that it's got this sort of frosty look. I'm feeling it. Does it have a... I'm going to have to feel it if it has a plastic on the top. But it's got little feet on the bottom, so when it goes on your surface, it's going to stay nicely in place. It got a, a little grippy to it. Of course, it has our sealed logo. And again, it's this really pretty frosted matte finish, which I think is gorgeous. And look, it's the perfect size for creating some of your clear seals. And portable, easy to grab, easy to keep on your work surface, all the good things. Okay, so those are the main 3 pieces. I'm going to tuck some of my other goodies away, and then we're going to walk you through getting started, plugging this guy in, and starting to make your very first clear seal. All right, so we're going to run you through how to get started, and I'll continue with kind of prepping. So I have my little power strip here, which is what we have in our studio. Let me unwind this guy. And it is your regular outlet situation, of course. Tangle, tangle. All right. So we get this guy plugged in, and it's going to take about around 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes to heat up. It does have a little stand here, so I'm going to pop the stand up. It won't heat up so fast that I can't get my glass mat ready, but let's talk about the on-off switch. So 0 is off, and the little line means on. So 0 off, line means on. So now it is plugged in. I can see that my outlet is working here. And yes, the glass mat does have a plastic. I thought it did, but like I said, this is a real unboxing, guys. So you want to peel back the plastic protective cover. And the glass is amazing. I'm going to walk you through how to clean it and get it all pretty between takes, but it is just really a nice little glass mat. I think I'll be using this for more than just creating clear seals, but we'll see. All right, so we have these 6 sticks that are included in the original packaging, but you know you're going to go through these fairly quickly, so we did come up with a really cool refill pack. Let me stick one of these in just so I can start heating up. Kind of use the trigger to feed one in, and I'll feed a second one in just a second, but I guess I can maybe get started on the second one. So just pull the trigger to feed that original stick in. This is a brand new one, guys. I can start the second one. So now you'll want to kind of put it on your glass mat. As with any glue gun, it does have a little tiny drip once it's heated up all the way through, but we found it actually doesn't extrude as much glue as some other glue sticks. And yes, I'll be doing comparisons side by side. This is going to be such a fun video, guys. So let me go back to the refills. You can see that the original sticks are approximately 4 inches or so. I see my fancy ruler here. But the refill sticks, you guys are getting about double that, about 8 inches long for the refill sticks. So trust me, this refill pack is something you're going to probably want to get right away. And once you get this guy, 20 sticks in there, that's going to last you a good long time. So again, enough to start in the kit. Think about getting that refill because you're going to have so much fun making these glass seals. Okay, so while that heats up, let me run through a couple other things that I think you should gather to start making some of your seals. Probably most important is some actual wax seal stamps. Because once we have the glue on our surface right here, we're going to want to stamp it with something, right? Let me run through a couple of my favorites that are just good basics. We have 2 wax seals that are just solid. So this is a solid circle and a solid square. These are really, really fun with the clear seal because once you create that seal, whatever shows up below the seal, whether it's paper, cardstock, photos, anything you could think of, or whether you create a seal and then add it to a project that has, mediums underneath, whether it's a card project, again, pattern paper, card front, whatever you're working with. The solid stamps really give a lot of visibility. So those are both really fun things to work with the clear seal maker. You can, of course, use any wax seal that's got a pattern to it. And I'll be talking about how to embellish these guys. Really fun. So we have so many different seals on the website. Of course, at spellbinderspaperarts.com. So go through and pick some of your favorite seals. Maybe you already have some seals in your stash. So anything that's got a pattern to it, of course, works with the clear seal maker too. So pick a couple of your favorites there just to play with and experiment. And then one other set that is also, well, probably actually is my favorite to use with this new tool is this cute little set of frames. So this is actually sold in a pack of 2. So you've got your rectangle frame, which you can see has a lot of solid in the middle. Again, perfect for the clear seals. And this beautiful oval. So this is actually a 2-pack in a box. So if you go ahead and check that on our website also, it's a really, really fun pack to get. This also has a matching die. So later on when I create some card projects, I'm going to walk you through how to use that. But essentially, besides your glass mat and your clear seal maker, you're going to need a wax seal stamp, at least one to start with. And then I also grabbed a couple of these that I mentioned earlier. Again, plain cardstock. Of course, we can create the seal just on the mat. And again, that's going to be clear and absolutely gorgeous. Or you can put your clear seal on directly onto a pattern paper. So I'll be showing that later on the video too. Super fun, totally unique, different look. Or you can grab some of your favorite pattern paper. I thought this one was fun because it's just about the right size of one of the small seals. In this case, if I was using pattern paper, I would either use the square or the circle. Once I add my glue on top, and then I can just do cute little patterns. This little floral I thought was sweet. So something that's got the right scale. Something that can be scaled down to your seal that's, about 1 inch across. So dig through your pattern paper. I know you've got lots of scraps. That'll be fun to play with too. So again, besides the glass mat and the clear seal maker, you'll need a stamp. And if you want to play later, you'll want to add some different paper products to go along. So in the meantime, I didn't set my timer. I feel like this is getting warm. We're going to make sure it's plenty hot. Again, 5 to 6 minutes. And then we're going to come right back when this is hot and create our very first clear seal. All right. So we've got our little glue gun. It's been heating about 6 minutes or so, nice and hot. Kind of got my second stick fed in here. Now we're going to create a seal. So it's all about pulling the trigger. And again, you're going to look at it and go, Kim, isn't this just a regular glue gun? I'm going to show some features and stuff that do make this one a little bit different than the average one you can pick up in your big box store. So a few different features that this has, and just how it's got more ease of use than your classic, what we would call a glue gun. But you know what? Seeing is believing. So why don't we go ahead and start with one seal? The seals do have to cool a little bit when they go on this glass mat before we peel them up to put them on our project. So we'll have a little bit time to chit chat. But we're going to go in and we're going to create a nice puddle of the clear seal stick. And this is one trigger. I know you guys can't really see behind the scenes. I'm going to show you some other angles in a little bit. That's about 1.5 triggers there. And I think I'm just going to use a clear circle. You want to come in while that glue is nice and hot. And then maybe just have a gentle little push of the seal into the glue. It's a little bit stiffer than wax. If you've done wax seals before, ooh, look at that fancy angle. I love it. If you've done our classic wax beads before, I do feel like the clear stick is just a little bit firmer than that. So you might have to give a little bit of pressure when you push down on that. Not a whole ton. But it's just going to go in very much a similar way to our colored wax goes. I'm going to do one more next to it just because we're just having fun now. This is that oval frame shape. So when I extrude the clear stick right here, I'm going to do a little bit more of an oval shape. And again, like I said, we want that just to hang out and cool for a little bit. So this is probably going to take maybe 2 pulls. There's 1 and about 2. And again, I see how I kind of dropped it in a little bit more of an oval shape. And I'll just put that one in right there. So much fun. One little gluey hair. Okay, so we're gonna let these cool for just a minute. But what I did want to talk about while that's cooling is the tip of this glue gun is specially designed. Now, it's Spellbinders, you guys, we do a lot of testing here. In fact, our product manager, Robin's going to be helping me do a side-by-side in a little bit, but we went through so many different iterations of this clear seal maker. What we finally landed on was a tool that has not only the perfect temperature that's going to melt our clear sticks perfectly. The clear sticks themselves, we tested so many different ones. And I know you guys could probably, again, run down to that big box store and buy a pack of sticks that say clear or ultra clear or something. Well, I'm telling you, we're going to do them side by side in a few minutes here. And you're going to see that ours actually are the real deal. Beautifully, beautifully clear sticks. So again, lots of testing, lots of trying out many, many different styles of sticks until we landed on the perfect one. Again, it's also about the nozzle. So if you have a glue gun hanging around, maybe you want to even do your own side-by-side comparison. One of the things I think you'll notice right away is that the tip of this nozzle on a typical glue gun is much, much smaller. So if you can imagine what that means that as you pull the trigger and the clear stick is extruded, it's much, much finer kind of line, which is probably fine for your typical crafting. But when you do a clear seal, you want that larger amount of product to be extruded onto the glass mat. So you can get in there quickly, put your seal on. You don't have as many bubbles. You don't have as much hand fatigue because you're not pulling the trigger many, many times to try to get enough glue out on your mat. So a whole variety of things. But again, a lot of it's about the size of the end of the tip of this tool. Again, the temperature of the tool. And again, just the comfort and handiness of how it feels in your hand and how comfortable it is and easy to get that perfect amount of product when you're creating your stamps. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull the circle off. They're probably both cool enough to pull off the stamp off. But what I'm not gonna wanna do is pull this seal up quite yet. I want it to just really cool nicely because if you can imagine if you pulled this off when it was not cool or maybe still a little bit warm, you're gonna probably get some cloudiness. Yeah, I could pull the oval off too though, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this view. So check them out. They're both absolutely gorgeous. Again, I'm not going to pull them off the mat quite yet. Um, we might just actually transition to the next segment while we wait for these to cool all the way. But honestly, the more you let it cool, the more beautifully transparent these are going to remain. So one question you might ask is, Kim, do I really need this glass mat? Now, I would say any glass mat is going to perform in a similar way. Of course, we love ours because it's just the right size and it's cute and it's portable. But any glass surface is going to give you good results. What you don't want to do is use this clear stick on a silicone mat. No, probably turn out cloudy. Any other kind of non-stick matte surface, anything that has any kind of texture on it, you're not going to get as good results as you will with the glass. So that's my tip of the day regarding the glass. All right, so we're gonna let this cool just another few minutes. I'm gonna get a couple more of my things prepped to show you how you can turn some of these amazing products into cards. And I'm not forgetting that side-by-side comparison. So actually, I think we might do that next. I feel like that's gonna be fun to put next, just so you can see what I was just talking about. An average everyday glue gun versus our clear seal maker. So we'll do that. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, I think I actually gonna go ahead and peel these off before we go to our side by side. I also want to use this glass mat over there. So again, just kind of running your finger underneath, peel off just beautifully, and oh my gosh, is that not just the funnest thing ever? Love, love, and there's so many things you can do with it. I promise I'm going to show you all the things. And again, there's the patterned one. Look how gorgeous! Just so they almost look like glass. It's just so pretty. Okay, we're going to set these aside. We're going to make some pretty projects with them, but we are also going to take this glass mat and do our side-by-side comparison. So let's go do that. Okay, here we are at our side-by-side testing. I've got Robin with me.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
So what we've got here is we've got our clear seal maker tool from Spellbinders, of course. It's hot, ready to go. We've got our clear stick in it. And just to note that we've got the kind of what we call our generic glue gun here from, I guess, a big box store, right? We do have the same clear stick loader, though. This is the Spellbinders clear stick. So we want to be fair. We want to have the same glue inside, the same clear stick, just two different guns. So hopefully we're going to show that ours is easier to use.
I mean, this is a perfectly good glue gun for doing things, but for purposes of showing how to do the clear seals, this is our test to show the difference.
All right. So we're going to go on the count of three. They're both hot. We're going to go ahead and extrude our material here. We're going to just pop our circle stamp on top. And then we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Are you
Ready? I am ready.
1, 2, and 3. That's 2 pumps for me.
7 for me.
Oh boy. And I can see, I don't know if the camera would pick it up there, but I can see just by looking over your shoulder, you've got definitely a lot more bubbles than maybe I have. I don't think I have any actually.
Yeah, show off.
So these are a little bit cooled off here. I'm going to peel the one we did with the Spellbinders Clear Seal Maker. And I think you can see, very pretty, very clear. Nary a bubble to be seen. Okay. And this is the one with the generic glue gun. Now this stamp does have a little pattern to it, but I think it still is a fair comparison. We'll peel that off. And you can see it is still nice and clear. Does have some bubbles around the edge. But in the long run, even though it took more of an effort, it does look decent. Okay, so we're back in the studio now, and we have our Spellbinders test and our generic glue gun test. So let's go ahead and peel them off. Here's the Spellbinders one. Like I said, very pretty, very clear. I'm curious about this one. Oh, it is true because I had tested this a little bit earlier, and There's something about this one, I'm not exaggerating, guys. It is harder to peel off, and I don't know if it's because the temperature's hotter or colder or what, but it is definitely harder to peel off. Okay, let me bring in a little piece of white paper I have here, just so we can kind of put them side by side. So once you get them peeled off, I think they're pretty comparable. Like I said earlier, we definitely see that this one has, you know, a little bit more bubbles around the edge, etc., etc. But I did do some side by side experiments again with that same exact process that we just talked about, and this is not being exaggerated or anything. This is the our clear stick in the Spellbinders gun. This is that same clear stick in the generic gun. Do you see how it's got more of a blue cast? I think maybe you can see it a little bit here, but you definitely can see it here in just the solid puddle. I thought that was really interesting. Again, different temperature. The generic gun, again, is not dialed in exactly to the specifications that we've really fussed with to really come up with this super clear. And again, you can see it there. I really can tell the difference. Now, I also tried some other glue sticks. So these are just off brands. Maybe again, a generic brand, something you got from, you know, the craft store, hobby store. So let me bring in those. I think you guys are gonna be shocked at these. Okay, so here's one which is not terrible. It's kind of got that bluish tinge right there. So again, generic glue stick, not Spellbinders. It's okay, but definitely got that bluish tinge. Then we go to another brand that I had pulled out. Oh my gosh, now you're starting to see where this is definitely does not have that beautiful clear. It's definitely got a yellowish tone. And then another one I pulled out of my cupboard. You guys are going to die. Look at that. This is supposed to be a clear glue stick, guys. This is probably your typical clear. This is probably one that was labeled crystal clear, even though it's definitely not as clear as ours. And then this was just a generic one I had in my cupboard from just a normal glue stick. So again, very much see the comparison now between, again, these two really being the true blue Spellbinders clear seal maker and clear sticks, and then all your other varieties of combinations of other guns and other glue sticks. So I feel very happy that I think I've at least tried to communicate the difference between what you can come up with some other products versus our Spellbinders. A little magical situation here.
It's Robin Beam here, faked you out, and I'm now here instead of Kim. I'm the product manager for the Clear Seal Maker Tool and the Clear Seal Sticks. So I was doing a lot of testing, and as you're making a lot of the seals, sometimes you get little squiggles and little excess glue stick, clear seal stick on here. And a lot of times you can peel it off, but sometimes there's a little bit of residue. And I've always been a Purell girl, so I actually have some at my desk and in my purse. And so what I did is I put a little bit of, well, that's a lot of Purell, but I put a little bit on, and with a paper towel, it makes these lovely squeaks. But look how it takes everything right off. And on some of the ones that I was testing, I had some little smears and stuff that with my finger, I could not easily get off. But what happens is just a little bit of a paper towel, and I just found like maybe a window cleaner would work, or maybe even a stamp cleaner, but the Purell just, I got a beautiful, clean finish. And it took off all that residue from the clear seal stick. So that's my little tip and trick for the maker tool.
Okay, friends, now we are ready to create. We kind of gone over the basics of wax seal, so I wanted to show some products that would be really, really fun to kind of mix and match with the clear seal tool maker. There it is. It's heating up. Heating up again, I should say. All right, so we've got a couple of products that are super, super fun. This is kind of a duo here. This is just two tiny little dies, if you see. Actually, I'll leave them flipped over for a second. And they match our little wax seal frame stamps. So probably chatted about these earlier, but this is a little set that comes in. Obviously on the left, we've got the rectangle and the oval. And you can see right here, oh, I should switch them, right? The two little dies coordinate perfectly with the frames. So you can take any kind of media and pop it out with these die cuts, and it's going to fit perfectly in this frame. And I am going to absolutely show you how that works right now. But I think what we're first going to do is go ahead and create a wax seal that's got the rectangle frame, because that's the one I want to die cut. So let's get our wax seal maker. Like I said, it should be all heated up now. It's like, okay, come on. And I'm going to try to put the wax in somewhat of a rectangle. I should say not wax, clear seal, right? The clear seal stick. See how I'm sort of creating a rectangle effect with it. And then when I add my stamp, I can just press down a little bit. Remember, you press down a little bit, maybe harder than you would with a normal wax bead. This clear seal stick is a little bit stiffer, so go ahead and press that in just like that. Perfect. And then I'm going to grab the little matching die. And one of the other products that's brand new that we're super excited about is these little wax seal rub-ons. They are meant to be perfectly sized to fit in either the oval or the rectangle, depending on what you die cut out. So this is 2 sheets of rub-ons here. You should get the number up there in case you want to check it out. We'll list all of the supplies in the video description, but this is SCS R002. It's called Little Works of Art. Absolutely adorable. I have one already opened over here. And you can see I've been cutting a few out, which is fun. So you just do it like a classic rub-on. If you haven't used a rub-on in a while, how about if I walk you through exactly how that works? So again, you kind of cut these apart. By the way, both sheets are identical. There is 2 sheets of artwork, but they're both the same. But there's like 49 different cute little artworks in here. I'm going to go right in the center. I already started cutting it out, and I thought, you know what? I want to do this on camera. This little guy, which is a little kitty cat sitting on a green chair, is my little artwork of choice here. And then you want to just grab a piece of cardstock. I've just got plain white. Usually looks and works the best. And then the little rub-on has a clear film on it. Or like a backer. It's not clear. I guess I'm in the clear mode, aren't I? It's clear once you peel it, but you want to peel the solid backer off. Sorry, Gavin, I'm getting off camera here a little bit. So there's the backer. This little rub-on is kind of a clear now. But put that on your cardstock and it kind of tacks itself down a little bit. And then, of course, we do want to rub it on with our handy dandy super technical tool popsicle stick here. And again, I'm not too worried about, you know, the edges or anything, because I am going to use that die to die cut it out. And that's going to give me that perfect finish. This is actually perfect because I can let my seal be cooling off here while we do this. Peel back the edge. Nope, not quite rubbed on down there. Kind of peel back a little bit and test it. Make sure that the complete image is rubbed off. Once you get it started, I can kind of see it pop to there. It just kind of pops off. I don't have very many fingernails. All right, there we go. So peel the backer off. There's your completed seal. Completed rub-on. And then you can see that the little rectangle, the die does go kind of to that inside edge, so you know pretty much right where you're adhering it. I'm going to grab some Best Over craft tape here. Just need a teeny tiny bit. And then now you can use this frame to pick which part of the artwork you want to highlight. This one, the kitty's pretty much dead center, so I'm totally fine with just centering it just like this. Some other artwork, and particularly when you're using this oval, let's peel the oval up. You know, you may want to kind of move it around a little bit to get exactly what you want to show in that frame. Put a couple tiny pieces of tape. And now, all right, clear seal tool maker. You're going to have to scooch over a little bit. I'm going to bring my die cutting machine in over here. Gavin will try to follow me. Yay! All right, so I'm just going to die cut it like normal. So that's a normal size die. There's no special sandwich or anything. It just happens to be a little tiny frame die. Might be the only die cutting I'm going to be doing right now. So A lot of stuff I have already prepped. Okay, so then when we pop it out, we have, I know it's tiny, the tiniest little piece of artwork. Now this guy, this is a couple other rub-ons that I had done previously, just rubbed them on a paper, and then here's another one that I die cut out. These happen to all be with a rectangle, that's okay. So now when I bring in my clear seal, I'm gonna pop that off. I feel like this could cool a few more minutes, and through the magic of video, guess what? Ta-da! I already have one peeled off. So this one I just did a little bit earlier before the video, and I thought, well, this will work best so we don't have to kind of wait too long for it to cool off. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, actually before I add my artwork, so what you would do is you just take this little die cut, again, it's just on regular cardstock, and you can see that it's gonna fit in the little frame just perfectly. I'm gonna add a little bit of glue, of course. But before I do this, I kind of want to show you guys the fun product I was talking about earlier, and this is our Bullion. So our Bullion is a wax seal powder, and this is super, super fun. It comes in gold and silver, and the Bullion is really fun to add on top of your seal. So whether it's the clear seals that we're working with right now, or a more traditional wax seal, it absolutely works on both, and it's really, really pretty. I'm actually going to bring in a couple seals that I had done earlier just to show you how it looks on each kind of seal. So check this out, guys. I have a clear seal that I did with our poinsettia wax seal stamp. Yay! And then, so this is done with the clear wax, or the clear stick. And this is done with just some of our pretty regular red. So I thought I would demonstrate the gold first, and then I'll switch to silver for my other project. For another project. But I wanted to show you how it looked on both types of mediums here. So it does come with a little applicator, but honestly, guys, I just use my fingertip. So you just come in. I know a lot of people are like, what is this? Is this like eyeshadow or what is it? But you can see, like, immediately as I start applying it to the seal, it just grabs onto that clear stick, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a lot easier, I think, to use than the gold pen. It is a different look. You do get two different kind of looks with it, but so beautiful on the edge. So you could stop there if you wanted to keep the poinsettia more clear, but I think would be beautiful with just a little bit of gold highlight. Ooh, am I right? So, so pretty. As soon as I get my fingers out of the way, you can see how just absolutely stunning that is. So again, beautiful, beautiful on the clear. Maybe I'll put a little bit more in this corner. And then watch real quick on a traditional wax bead. It's just as beautiful. So you could go with any color wax bead, you know, from our traditional wax seal kit. And it just rubs on and clings so beautifully. And the 3D wax seals really work well because you do have that extra dimension of height. So they really tend to grab the Bullion beautifully. But they work with the regular wax seals too. So again, you kind of, you know, you can kind of burnish almost a little bit, rub it with your finger, and then it really kind of rubs on and clings on. And it's so pretty, guys. Absolutely gorgeous. And I will tell you something interesting. It doesn't really stick to paper. I mean, it might give you a little sheen, but can you guys see that? No, it's like, doesn't even really show. I know, try to hold it still. You know, you got a tiny bit of a glimmer, but it's really meant for either the traditional wax bead or the clear seal stick. That's what it adheres to. So if you try it on paper, you're not really going to get much of an effect at all. So let me switch over now to my rectangle I was going to talk about. Actually, maybe I'll use that same backer paper just so you can see. So because I want to rub this gold Bullion on, I'm going to do that before I adhere my little kitty cat. And this frame that kind of has this postage edge, so, so cute. The little postage edge really shows up, so cute. So again, so many fun things you can do with these clear seals, guys. We're going to have fun in the next few minutes creating some great projects. Okay, kind of burnishing it. Can you see how super pretty that is with the gold on there? Yeah, look at that. Just so nice. So kind of luxe, right? Okay, so now to put my cardstock in, I'm going to go ahead and just put some white glue right in the center. And I really think if you've got your clear seal maker hot, you probably could just use some some of that to adhere, but regular white glue is just fine. Because it does have that cardstock in the back, it's going to kind of soak in and adhere that little kitty on there. So cute. Isn't that fun? It just makes it just such a cute little extra effect to have that piece of artwork in there. So keep in mind that this artwork is on top of our wax seal. You just saw me glue it on top, and that is definitely one way to create the seal. I'm going to bring my card in. I say that because we're going to experiment later with putting some artwork underneath the clear wax or clear seal. Keep calling it wax. It kind of is wax. All right, so I created this card. Isn't this fun? So it's just a fun little background. This is one of our backgrounds that released around the holiday times. And then we're going to pop this wax seal on top. And actually, now that my clear seal maker is hot, I can go ahead and just use a tiny bit of the clear seal so it does answer your question. Does it work as a glue gun, Kim? Yes, it certainly can. And I could have used regular white glue too, but I just want to pop that in there. I just did the background, some inking that's sort of pulled from the artwork here from the little kitty, and then used a few little flower die cuts. But how cute is that, right? Two more items that might come in handy for using the clear seal maker is a small little circle die, so a 1-inch circle die. I just got this from our nested circles set. I think it's called Essential Circles. Or a 1-inch circle punch. Now, why do I care if these are 1 inch each? Because we have 2 solid stamps that we offer here at Spellbinders. So again, no pattern on either one of these. One is a 1-inch circle, thus the 1-inch circle that's going to match it. And one is a 1-inch square. So the 1-inch square punch I thought would be fun to combine. Now you may have things in your stash. You may have a 1-inch circle punch. That's fine. Or you can just cut yourself a 1-inch square on a trimmer. It's a little bit small, but it's definitely doable. But these two are really good mates or good sets that you can use with each other to create some fun little things. I think we'll do the square. So, for example, you can go ahead and bring in, you could use pattern paper. You could use some other die cuts. You could do something that you created, a piece of watercolor art. Really anything you can think of to put underneath the seal. That's what we're going to create next. So to me, I'm going to do the 1-inch solid square. So I want to punch a circle. I'm sorry, a square. This is just one of our Beautifully Imperfect paper packs. I thought was fun. Oh, maybe there's something fun here. This looks kind of cool. Let me trim off a little bit. I think I'm going to try to get to maybe these little flowers right here. Oh, these flowers are cute too. Maybe I'll just do these. They're closer to the edge. So see how you can see the window if you turn our punch upside down? You can kind of see exactly where you're punching. Now that's going to give me a tiny piece of artwork, sort of similar in the same way that we did the rub-on. But now I've just simply punched it or die cut it or whatever the case may be and given myself a nice little square. Now I want to bring in my clear glass here. This little rectangle from a few minutes ago is definitely cool now. I'll just peel that off. I'll use that for another project. Look how pretty and clear it is. And now this time I want to put my clear seal stick on top of my artwork, and then I'm going to come in and just press it with my square, and that's going to give me just a fun little artwork that's underneath the clear seal. I have a feeling I'm going to need a new stick here pretty quick, but so I can squeeze my clear seal here out. I can kind of go a little bit of a square, In other words, try to get to the four corners of this. But I don't want my seal to be too huge so it overwhelms the art. But I think that's about right. And then I'll press firmly, and I'm trying to get my seal to match the square underneath, more or less. You know, you don't want it completely off kilter. It doesn't matter if it's not exactly in the center, but because it's a little forgiving, but you kind of want that look. All right, so while that cools off, see, I've got this all staged. Hopefully, I'll say that and then I'll mess up, I'm sure. So I've got this one that I did earlier. And in the same way that we just did that little guy, this was one of the butterfly prints from the Beautifully Imperfect paper. And this time I wanted to come in and do some silver on top. This one I was kind of rushing a little bit. Do you see my little bubble there? But the nice thing about the Bullion is that's pretty much going to disguise some of that. If you do go a little bit too quick and don't let the gun heat up completely, you do have the chance to get a little bubble on there for sure. And that's what I think I was doing. This one I don't think is any bubbles, so we'll pull that one off when it cools a little bit. But look how pretty the silver is, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, it looks like full-on real metallic finish. Kind of getting the edges a little bit more. Yeah, and I kind of like the imperfectness of it. A lot of it's because the paper is called Beautifully Imperfect, and I was kind of embracing that when I was coming to finish this card project. So I love that. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I think this is the upside down. Let's see if my butterfly is upside down. Okay, so here's the card I created. Again, using some of the Beautifully Imperfect paper. I used a few of the die cuts that we have in the die cut pack available. And this is one of the dies that's in that collection. So it creates this fun little kind of zigzag stitched line. So I kind of really wanted to lean into the, again, a little bit more grungy mixed media look. And I thought this guy would be really cute kind of up here on the little stitch line. Kind of gives me my little visual triangle with my die cut and my sentiment. So again, I'll use a little bit of the clear seal maker and use that to adhere it on. I'm still looking which way is up on this butterfly. Okay, I'm going with this way. It's so imperfect that I can't tell if it's upside down or not. There we go. Look at that, guys. Is that just fun? So again, what a fun way to use the clear seal also to go over any kind of artwork. And on not my next card, but the one following, I'm going to even do it over a little photo. How fun is that? So that's one of my tips. But this is tip number 2, or technique number 2 for using the clear wax. That is applying the clear seal over pattern paper or custom artwork or watercolor or whatever you have that you think would look fantastic underneath that clear stick. So super fun. All right. Card number 2. Meantime, I'm feeling this to see if it's cool. I think it is. Yeah, there we go. So you guys can get a glimpse of that one. How cute is that? See if I can peel it up for you. That one's really cute with the little floral paper underneath. So again, it's very sweet just like this. Putting it clear. Let me bring this pink paper back in to kind of show you how sweet it is on the pink. And again, no bubbles because I took my time. But you also could put it over, you know, any kind of paper, or you can add the Bullion on top. But this one I think is really pretty even without the Bullion. I kind of like the fact that it's clear. It's got that kind of almost glass look, like it's framing that sweet little, well, turn it that way. Maybe that's the right side up. So again, same idea I just showed, just a little bit different version. So fun. So I've got a piece of cardstock. I've got this seal that we did earlier. So remember how we just did the seal with a rectangle frame? I'm going to do one with an oval frame now instead. But the difference between applying the seal to the glass mat and peeling it up, it works fine. It works beautiful for certain techniques. And you can see if I put it here, that if I was going to come back and adhere this to my cardstock, it definitely is a little bit different look. It's got a little bit more of that opaque look. And if I use one of our seal stickers, you know, the little round stickers that we sell, that would definitely kind of show up on here and maybe not give me the exact look I wanted. So I wanted to show you adding the clear seal stick to a colored cardstock and then stamping it. And like I said, this time I'm going to use the oval. Let's go ahead and do that. And I chose black. It shows up. It's pretty dramatic. I use this for a card we created for our catalog, actually. But you absolutely could do it on any color cardstock, of course. Okay, again, kind of framing it into that oval shape. And then pressing right down. And this is going to give you a completely different look. I have one that's cool already because I thought, you know what, this one will probably take a few minutes to cool. It's a fairly large seal. So I'm going to bring back the one I did separately and the one that's on the cardstock. We can pull that in a minute. But look how different those two look, guys. I don't know if we can try the side camera, if it might show a little bit more. But when you adhere this seal onto the cardstock, obviously it adheres straight to. Ooh, yeah, I like that angle. And you're seeing much more of the richness of the black cardstock behind the seal when it's directly on. And then this one, which we peeled off, like I said, you could put a sticker and put it on, but how dramatically different is that, right? It doesn't even hardly look like the same product. So I really loved how this looks. And you might be asking, well, Kim, what do you do when it's on the cardstock now? So in order to put it on your project, then what I would do then is I would take this and just take some small detail scissors and just cut around it. So now I've kind of created the seal with its own color, and yet still looks quite different than if I was going to, for example, use black wax beads. It's got a very different look from that. Maybe I should have had one of those to compare, but I think you guys are getting the idea. There's just so many fun different things you can do with the clear. I wanted to get you going on some of them at least. So you kind of want to trim away, make sure that most of that cardstock is not showing around the edge. Clean it up just a tiny bit. And again, look how rich and pretty that is. It's just gorgeous. And then if I was going to come in and now add some gold bullion, which you wouldn't have to. It's very pretty just like this, but you know, always experimenting. Oh my gosh. Look at the gold on that black. So cool. I get excited. Just very regal, very elegant looking. Again, kind of coming in on all edges. This one is very, very pretty plain. Like, I don't even know that you have to add something to it. I did add one of our little works of art for the card project I made. But, absolutely gorgeous, just like that. Almost looks like a cameo, right? So super, super pretty. Imagine it on, I'm just going to pull this pattern paper out. You know, imagine it on a card project, something like this. You could add that sweet little greeting. Maybe even your sentiment kind of goes on top or whatever. It's just stunning. So, so pretty. But I will show you what I did for my card project. Just bring this guy in right here. So I went ahead and again, I was on a roll with the Beautifully Imperfect pattern paper. This is gorgeous. This has kind of a shiny black foiled finish on it. And then I did add one of the little works of art from the Rub-On set. It's right here. Yes, little Miss Frida, right? Yeah. I thought she was very regal and very fun on this card project, but again, super cool even without the work of art on it. Gorgeous. This even shows more black than this one. This does have black paper underneath. I think this one just shows a bit more. Maybe I didn't use quite as much of the bullion, but again, super, super fun and pretty. So experiment with adding your clear wax to a cardstock color. I love that. Let me pull this one off just to see. Yep, it's cool. So again, super fun, super easy. Try it with either of the frame shapes, or really for that matter, any of our wax seal shapes. They would be just gorgeous on the cardstock. And then trim around and Done and done. Easy. Okay, so there's two more things I want to share before I let you go, and you need to go out and experiment with all of your fun clear seals. So I went ahead and went to my printer and I grabbed a couple of photos that I had in my, Google Drive or whatever. And I took a floral. I think I took this one of our trade shows. And then I got two pictures of my little granddaughters that I thought would be kind of a appropriate size, to create a clear seal with. And then I went ahead and created this clear seal with the circle, the plain circle that we talked about earlier. Kind of just used as a test frame because I wasn't too sure when I was, printing these off if they're going to be the right size, and they ended up being pretty good. Now I'm going to apply my hot seal clear stick directly to this paper, so it'll be much clearer than this, but you can kind of see, the seal is quite clear, but then when you go to a photo, you have just a little bit of green to it. Look at that one. That's my little violet. It's my granddaughter Margot, by the way, my granddaughter Violet. So I was like, oh, this is it. This is the one. Like, it's sized perfectly. Or if you have any kind of fun artwork, maybe you want to like come in here and do just a really pretty photo that you've taken of, whatever, your foliage around town. It could be a holiday kind of glimpse. So this is just regular paper. I just printed on our printer paper, just dragged the photo onto my Word program, really, and just pulled it and resized it until I thought it was about right, and then use the printer. So I think I'm going to go for Miss Violet here. Actually, hold on one second. I'm going to grab another clear stick. All right, here we go. I know I was getting closer, getting to the end of it here. So, actually, you know what? Let me cut Miss Violet out here. It'll be a little bit easier to work with. I'll do you another day, Margot. How cute is this to personalize it, for example, for a birthday card, which is what I'm going to do, or just a thinking of you card, or anything like that. All right, Miss Violet. This is a circle stamp, so I'm just going to kind of give a circle of wax, or clear stick. I know I always want to call it wax. I feel like it is wax. And then push the circle down. I've probably got a little bit too much wax on there. Yeah, I think I did a little bit too much. You can see how it's kind of going off my photo up here, so we'll see. We'll see how it looks. Probably fine. She won't care, trust me. She'll be so excited to see her personalized face on the card. Let me just set this to the side, and I'll show you the card project I made. Kind of tell you where I was going here. So Violet loves puppies. So if you guys have not opened your advent calendar yet from this year, here's a little tease, a little sneak peek. But it is day one of your advent calendar, so I didn't feel like it was too big of a stretch to share this with you if you have not opened it yet. But it's your little teaser. It is this darn little puppy that's just jumping for joy. And I thought it was so cute and so up her alley. And then I created the background just by cutting some stripes and really just picking up some of the kind of colors from her little outfit there. So this is gonna have to tick-tock cool for a minute. So let's bring this card back. I popped this guy off, so look how cute. Am I just biased because she's adorable? Yeah, she's my little spunky Violet. So again, I would cut around. I did make my seal a little bit too big, but we'll pop it on the card. Maybe I'll reprint it. It's one of the joys about printing your photos on regular paper. You don't have to think you have to, try to wreck real photos or anything. So my idea was to put it kind of right here at the end of this little sentiment. And look how sweet. So, so cute. So I think I will reprint it so I don't have that white showing at the top. I didn't realize it was going to crop quite that fast. But look how cute. Wouldn't anybody just be thrilled to have their little personalized clear seal? So the fun last thing you can do is do some mix-ins, what I'm calling mix-ins. So just like, you go to your favorite ice cream place and you can pick your mix-ins. This is a similar type idea that you can use with a clear seal. So this particular one was just a little tiny piece of dried fern, so it actually is a legit piece of foliage here. And again, just to kind of give you the idea, something fun. I did lay the little piece of fern down and added the wax on top. And in this particular case, I did the gold, the square stamp, but kind of did it at a little bit of an angle like that. So it kind of gives that little angle look, which complemented the fern. I thought it was sweet. And I also had another little smidge of dried flower. And this one I did with a circle seal. And again, just had the little dried flower underneath. So if you have little bits and baubles, maybe things you've collected, super fun to do something nature inspired. Or this one is something I think a lot of us have around, and that's little tiny pieces of sequin, little shaker pieces, anything that's kind of more flat but cute and tiny. So this one I actually put a piece of our poppy cardstock down. And this one I did a little bit different. I went ahead and put the poppy cardstock down, then I added my clear seal and then sprinkled the little hearts inside and then pressed the seal down. So I think we've demoed this before using glitter. I didn't want to do glitter here today because it's kind of messy. So again, for this particular one, you would add the seal first, the clear stick, and then sprinkle your little mix-ins. And then I'm going to pop this circle off. And then you would just press it down with, for this particular one, I used a circle. Whereas these, I put the median or the little flowers first and put the wax on top. So either way, there's two different ways to use this to do what I'm calling little mix-ins, but I thought it was really fun, really sweet. Again, we don't sell dried flowers like that. We do have a lot of fun little confetti pieces. And in this case, I created this little anniversary card. My parents' anniversary right around the corner. So I thought, well, add a little piece of ribbon, put that wax seal right in the middle, and again, this particular card looks a little bit like a little sweet little gift or something. I used a little piece of our ribbon and that fun embossing folder from our, this came out with a perfume bottle. That was a fun collection we had earlier this year. So a little embossed background could be, embossed with whatever your choice is. And this is a little Better Press, sweet little sentiment. Hopefully this video will definitely get you started from unboxing to how to do the clear seals to cleaning the glass mat to getting to the fun part, which I think is creating. So there we go. Again, enjoy the clear seal maker tool, and we'll see you on the next video. Happy crafting!